Most people spend their entire lives avoiding discomfort, yet I chase it once a year on purpose. Not because I like pain, not because I need a medal, but because the truth is, life's hard. And if you never train for hard or put yourself in situations where you may fail, you'll break when it comes. So this is what my Misogi looked like last year. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, it almost broke me. Every year since 2021, I set out to do something that is so hard that there's a high probability that I'm going to fail. Like I said, not for attention, not because I like pain, not because I need a medal, but to suffer on purpose, to push beyond my comfort, to just remind myself that I can do hard things. This idea started for me in 2021 when I picked up Michael Easter's book, The Comfort Crisis. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, the premise hit me hard because the exact person that he was attempting to address was me. The reality is most of us have engineered our lives to just be convenient, safe, so padded. And the sad truth is that we've forgotten what it's like to build resilience. Most of us cannot persevere through pain. It is in this book that he introduced me to the concept of Misogi, a physical or mental challenge that is so hard that there's a high probability that you might fail, something that you might not finish. And that's the point. In 2021, after reading his book, I signed up for my first sprint triathlon. I read the book in July and signed up for a race in September. And if I'm gonna be honest, that was not enough time to train. The reality is that I was not in the same kind of shape I am today. I was at the beginning of my journey. In 2022, I recruited my good friend Keith, and we set out on a ruck run. 5+ hours of rucking with a 40-pound pack, also carrying an additional 60 to 80-pound sandbag. And we did it on Memorial Day weekend. So you know what that meant? That meant that we did Murph as well. 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and 300 air squats. We did the air squats and the push-ups with the rucks on our back. I decided to do the pull-ups with the ruck as well, and it was hard. In 2023, I signed up for my first Spartan. It was a 10K, 6 miles, 30 obstacles, and I trained hard for it. In fact, my training went so well that when race day actually came, the race felt easy, and that didn't feel like a Misogi to me. So when I got home, I went online and searched for something else to do, something else that would push me past my comfort. I signed up for an Olympic triathlon with only 21 days out, without training for it at all. And let me tell you, that was certainly a Misogi. About 400 meters into the swim, I almost gave up. The water was choppy, it was cold, and the truth is, I just wasn't ready, but I pushed through. If you want to see what that looked like, I have a video on that right here. Which brings me to 2024, the best one so far. 2024 was a very adventurous year for me. And if I'm gonna be honest, I had different plans for what my Misogi was gonna be like. So I set out on an adventure and it ended up being shorter than I had expected. Just scroll back on my YouTube feed and you can see what that adventure was for yourself. So when I got back home sooner than expected, I knew I needed something to push me past my comfort. I was in the best shape of my life up until that point. So I really wanted to test myself. Enter the Spartan Beast 21K, 13.1 mile off-course race with 30 obstacles and a whole lot of climbing. It was gonna test my strength, my endurance, and my grit. With over 15,000 feet of elevation, that makes Killington one of the toughest beasts there is. The average finish time is over 4 hours, and it was brutal. The heat was impossible. Why do this, you may ask? Because life doesn't ask permission to get hard. It rarely gives you warning of the losses, the layoffs, the diagnosis, the betrayals. What I've learned in life is that you can't always prepare for what you didn't see coming, but you can train your response. When you regularly choose discomfort, you become the kind of person that doesn't fold under pressure. Why? Because you've already tasted suffering on your terms. So when life throws you something unexpected, you don't break, you adapt. And in this race, I had to adapt. Although I was in the best shape of my life, something went terribly wrong. About 3 miles or so in, my IT bands got so tight that it became impossible to run down the hills. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. My IT bands, both of them super tight mile 2. So I've been kind of fighting the downhills the entire time. The ups hurt the lower back, but that is what it is. Probably because not only had I not been training in elevation or for elevation, I hadn't been training for a Spartan at all. I signed up for this race with less than a month to go, but I wasn't about to quit. 3 miles in and the pain started to become unbearable. Yet I had 10 plus miles to go. This pain made every climb down nearly impossible. I could barely move. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, my pride was hit every time I would pass somebody on the climbs, only to be passed by so many more people on the way down. On Killington, there's something called the Death March, and it's just this steep climb where you just, as far as the eye can see, you're just climbing. And I'm passing people. They're stopping. I'm going. Things feel awesome, only to find out that every time I've got to go down these hills, they would just catch up. So this stopped being a race about finishing with a good time and beating other people, and it became a race of me versus me. Could I keep going? Am I the kind of person that even though the pain is unbearable, do I quit?
Shit out, boy. Good job. Yep. Yeah.
I was about to find out and learn all of those things on this race. In fact, things got so bad that at one point I felt like God had to send this 60-year-old plus woman with Advil. She saw I was hurting so bad that she offered me some on the race. But I was not gonna quit. Honestly, the obstacles became a reprieve for the pain. I was looking forward to the next difficult task simply because I could barely move forward. The obstacles became my chance to breathe. But what I've learned is you'll never know how you will handle when life doesn't go your way until it doesn't go your way. So I kept pushing, adapting to certain obstacles, but completing every single one, fighting for every inch, for every step. I'm gonna be honest, there were plenty of times where I almost just threw in the towel, but that's why I do these things. And honestly, I don't just do it for me. I do it for my son. I want him growing up knowing that comfort isn't the goal, but that character is. Who are you when no one's watching? I want him to know that challenges aren't something that we run from, but that we lean into. I want him to know that no matter what life throws his way, he can look it in the eye and say, this is hard, but I do hard things. So every year, I find something hard to do, something with risk, something with the possibility that I may fail. We shouldn't fear failure, but we should embrace the idea that if we are going to fail, we're gonna fail forward. Every year, I pick something that reminds me that life is worth fighting for. And progress doesn't look the same for everybody, but if I could just get 1% better every time, when we choose to look back over our lives, we can be thrilled, we can be happy with the person that we've become. And so, this year's challenge is coming soon, but the mindset, that starts today. I've decided to run my very first trail ultra, and I'm gonna bring you along on the journey with me. Are you interested in joining me? Let me know in the comments. And so over the next couple of months, we'll put out some videos of like what I'm eating, what my training days look like, what rest needs to be like. And we're gonna tackle this thing together. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss anything going on around here. And we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And check out this other video that YouTube seems to be recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. I'll see you over there. Peace.